Today we are talking about the Quincke tube. And what is the Quincke tube? Number one, this is so students, Quincke tube is the practical arrangement or practical method for determining velocity of sound in air. Number one. Number two, this is based on the interference of sound waves. जो हमने लास्ट क्लास में पढ़ा था इंटरफेरेंस ऑफ साउंड, ठीक है, इंटरफेरेंस पढ़ा था हमने, तो दिस इज बेस्ड ऑन द इंटरफेरेंस ऑफ साउंड वेव्स. इज दैट ओके? नाउ लेट्स सी व्हाट इज Quincke tube. This is one of the U-tube. This is another U-tube, right? And there is a sound source. This is source of sound, right? And sound waves are produced by this source of certain frequency. मैं क्या कह रहा हूं? Frequency of sound is already known. That means what? We are using a source of sound whose frequency is already known, right? Number one. Number two, now the sound waves are produced, right? And when sound wave enter from this hole, the sound wave will, few of the sound waves will travel through this path, and few of the sound waves will travel through this path, right? And there is another hole. This is a candle, and this is the flame of a candle. Now here both of the sound waves meet again, and they will be traveling in this direction. Is that okay? What I'm saying, listen to me again. This source of sound produces some sound, and in this tube, sound waves are divided into two parts. So some of the sound waves will travel through this path, and some of the sound waves will travel through this path, and they will meet here again, and when they will be traveling in the same direction, the interference of sound waves will take place. Is that okay? Number one. Number two, the sound wave which is traveling through this path is, let's say, traveling a distance x1, and the sound wave which is traveling through this path, let's say that is traveling a distance x2, right? Number one. Number two, in the interference of sound, what is important? The phase difference between sound waves and the path difference between sound waves, right? If phase difference is 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi, that is 2 n pi, then interference will be constructive. And when phase difference is 2 n pi, then path difference will be n lambda, and interference will be constructive, right? And if the path difference is either lambda by 2 or 3 lambda by 2 or 5 lambda by 2, then the waves will meet in opposite phase, and there will be destructive interference. Yes or no? So this is path traveled by first wave, this is path traveled by second wave, and they have some path difference. How much is the path difference? They have some path difference. How much? Let's represent this path difference by delta 1. This wave has traveled a path x1, this wave has traveled a path x2, so the path difference is x1 minus x2. Is that okay? Okay. And in the current situation, we have adjusted these tubes. Such that this path difference is equals to somewhat n lambda. And how would we decide that path difference is n lambda? Listen, when these sound waves meet here again at this point, then there will be interference between these two waves, and due to interference, if the interference is constructive, if the interference is constructive, then path difference will be n lambda, and amplitude of resultant wave will be maximum, and intensity of the resultant sound wave will also be maximum. Amplitude of the resultant wave will be maximum, as well as intensity of the final wave will be maximum. Is that okay? Okay. Number 2, when the intensity of emergent sound wave is maximum, then there will be maximum disturbance in the medium. Disturbance in the medium will also be maximum. When there is maximum disturbance in the medium, the flame of the candle will be maximum disturbed. Is that okay? So by changing the position of both the tubes, we will adjust these tubes such that there is maximum disturbance in the flame of this candle. Is that okay? In that case, when the disturbance in the flame is maximum, that means there is maximum intensity of sound waves. That means this is constructive interference, and when this interference is constructive, the path difference will be n lambda. Is that okay? So this is the condition for first constructive interference. Now, this tube is now fixed. This is fixed, and this tube is slightly pulled outwards. When this tube is pulled outwards, what will happen? This x1 will increase, and let's say it will become x1 dash. Right? I'm saying if, let's say this is tube T1 and this is tube T2, if tube T1 is pulled by distance x, then what will happen? This tube is pulled by a distance x. So this part x will increase, this part x will increase in both the sides. That means this tube will be somewhat like this. This will be the tube. Is that okay? And when this is the tube, now wave passing through this tube T1 will have to travel more path. And let's say this, now the path traveled by the wave is x1 dash. So the path difference will be, so the path difference now will be delta 2, and delta 2 will be written as x1 dash minus x2. Why x2? Because this wave is still traveling the same distance. This wave is still traveling same path. Is that okay? Okay, now, so this is the new path difference, but this x1 dash is x1 plus 2x. Tell me why? Initially the wave was traveling a distance x1, but now this tube is pulled by a distance x, so this wave has to travel x distance more in this part of tube and x distance more in this part of tube. That means total 2x distance more will be traveled by this wave. Yes or no? So what will be the total path traveled? x1, that is equals to the initial path of the wave, and extra path traveled by the wave. So extra path traveled by the wave is 2x. So this is the new path difference. So what we'll say, the path difference is increased by del 2 minus del 1. Okay, number 2, I'm pulling this tube T1 outside. So wave passing through this part of tube will be increased. Okay, and I will pull this tube outwards until I again find the maximum intensity, until I again find maximum disturbance in the flame of this candle. When the disturbance in the flame of candle is again maximum, that means it is again a constructive interference. That means what? This time this path difference will be equals to n plus 1 lambda. Tell me I'm right or not? This is equation number 2. Yes? Okay. So del is equals to del 2 x1 dash minus x2. Del 1 was equals to x1 minus x2, and in right hand side this del 2 can be written as n plus 1 lambda, and del 1 can be written as n lambda, so it minus n lambda. Is that okay? This is minus plus x2 and this is minus x2, cancel. So del is equals to x1 dash minus x1. This is x1 dash. When x1 is taken here, it will become equals to 2x, and that is equals to here n lambda plus lambda minus n lambda. N lambda and n lambda are cancelled. So this 2x is equals to what? Lambda. Okay, now try to understand what I am saying. When I pull this tube T1 by a distance x, so wave has to travel x distance more in the upper limb and x distance more in the lower limb. So wave has to travel 2x distance more. So the path difference will now increase by 2x. Number one. Number two, these are two consecutive constructive interference, because initially it was found as constructive interference. Now you pull the tube until the interference is again found constructive. So if it was nth constructive interference, so it will be n plus 1th constructive interference. Yes or no? So what I am saying, this path difference will increase by lambda. This path difference has increased by lambda. So increase in the path difference is lambda, and that is equals to 2x. So lambda equals to 2x. And number two important thing, because you are conducting this experiment, you are pulling this tube, and you know by how much distance this tube is pulled, that x is already known, because it is a experimental value, right? You can measure this distance, right? X you know, that means you know the wavelength is now known. Yes or no? Number two, you know the velocity of any wave is written as nu into lambda. Nu is the frequency of sound which is already known, and lambda is the wavelength of sound which is now found recently. We found in this expression. Yes or no? When frequency is known, wavelength is known, that means velocity of sound is also known. You can say velocity of sound will be nu as it is, and lambda will be written as 2x. This x is known, frequency of sound is known, that means we have found the velocity of sound in air, right? This is what the velocity of sound in air. Is that okay? And velocity of sound in air found by this experiment is nearly 332 meters per second. Is that okay? Okay. Now we will talk about beats. And we have already talked about the beats. What is beats? This is a type of superposition of two waves. Two waves or more than two waves. When two or more waves are propagating in the same direction, having their frequencies nearly equal to each other. Having their frequencies nearly equal to each other. And nearly equals to means what? They have some difference in their frequencies. The difference in the frequencies is delta nu is nu2 minus nu1. They have some difference in their frequency, but the difference in the frequency is very, very small, is very, very less than the frequency of both. That means this difference in the frequency is very, very less than 2 nu1 as well as very, very less than 2 nu2. Is that okay? again come back. When two or more than two waves, we are talking about the beats, right? And right now we are talking about the beats produced by two waves, right? But there may be more than two waves also, right? So when two or more than two waves propagating in the same direction meet in the medium whose frequencies are nearly same, nearly same means what? That they have a very small difference in their frequencies. When they meet in the medium, they produce beats. Provided, so let's write it down. Number one. We will initially talk about the beats produced due to two waves, but they may be more than two waves. So two waves or more than two waves propagating in the same medium, which have, number one, nearly equal frequencies. Nearly equal frequencies matlab their frequencies will have some difference, but that difference is negligible as compared to the frequencies of both. Number two, their amplitudes. Listen, for producing beats, the amplitudes of two waves or more than two waves may be equal or may not be equal, but if their amplitudes are not same, beats will be produced, but those beats will not be heard because during constructive interference, intensity and amplitude will be maximum, but during destructive interference, resultant amplitude will not be zero because their amplitudes are not same, right? Do you remember in interference we talked about if the two waves being interfered have equal amplitude, that resultant amplitude, what does the result comes? The resultant amplitude equals to zero. But when it happens only when the amplitudes of two waves are equal, right? So we will say for clearly understood beats, for clearly heard beats, their amplitudes must be equal. Amplitudes of two waves should be equal, right? Okay. Suppose we have a wave y1 equals to a sine omega 1 into t, a1 sine omega 1 into t. Their amplitudes are same, but I will make a1 equals to a2 finally, not right now. Okay, now listen what I'm saying. This is the equation of first wave. Now you would like to ask me, sir, that equation of a wave was a sine omega t minus kx. Where the kx is? Where this kx has gone? Listen, when we were talking about the interference, what happened in the interference? This was the first wave and this was the second wave, right? So there was some difference of distances. There was important thing was the path difference. Path difference was very important, and path difference, we talk about path difference when the initial positions of both the waves are different. When the position of wave production, position where wave is produced was important in case of interference, right? But in case of beats, origin of the waves is not important, position of the wave origin is not important. What is more important? Time is more important, right? So in this case I'm not considering that kx because position is not important, right? Okay, this is first wave. So second wave, so the second wave, equation of second wave is y2 equals to a2 sine of omega 2 into t. Is that okay? Now listen. What you said, omega 1 can be written as 2 pi nu 1 and omega 2 can be written as 2 pi nu 2. So omega 2 minus omega 1 is equals to delta omega, right? What I said, that there is a small difference in their frequencies. I will say nu 2 minus nu 1 is equals to delta nu. If I multiply whole the equation by 2 pi, so what I get, 2 pi nu 2 minus 2 pi nu 1 is equals to 2 pi delta nu. This is omega 2, this is omega 1 equals to delta omega, right? So I would like to say omega 2 equals to omega 1 plus delta omega. Can I say that? Yes. So I will say that this equation of the second wave will become y2 is equals to a2 sine of omega 2. Omega 2 is omega 1 plus delta omega into t. So this y2 will become a2 sine of omega 1t plus delta omega t, right? Where this delta omega t is considered as phi. Now listen again. When we were talking about the interference of waves, the phase difference between both the waves was phi, and that phase difference was constant. Why it was constant? Because both the waves were having same frequencies and they were originated from two fixed points. So initial phase difference was constant, right? But in this case, in case of beats, phase difference depends on time. That means phase difference between two waves will continuously change with the time. Is that okay? Now listen, what would I say? So the equation of the second wave has been a2 sine of omega 1t plus phi. This is the equation of second wave. Is that okay? So the first equation of the first wave is a1 sine of omega 1t, and the equation of the second wave for beats is a2 sine of omega 1t plus phi, where phi is equals to delta omega t, right? So these are two waves which will superimpose and produce beats, right? And what was the initial definition of the beats? Two waves having small difference in their frequencies, when they meet in the medium, they produce beats, right? Okay. Now, by the principle of superposition, what was the principle of superposition? That y is equals to y1 plus y2. So y equals to y1 कितना है? This is a1 sine of omega 1t, and y2 कितना है? a2 sine of omega 1t plus of 5. Is that okay? Okay. Now this is sine a plus b. I will open this by the formula sine a plus b. So what I get? Y is equals to a sine of omega 1t plus a2. Sine a plus b is sine a cos b plus cos a sine b. So sine omega 1t cos b is cos phi plus cos of omega 1t into sine phi. Is that okay? Now I will multiply this a2 in this inside, right? So what I get? Y is equals to a1 sine of omega 1t plus a2 sine of omega 1t cos phi and plus of a2 cos of omega 1t into sine phi. Is that okay? This is first term, this is second term, and in both these terms sine omega 1t is common. So what I'm saying, y equals to sine of omega 1t is taken as common. So a1 is, this is a1, and this is a2 cos phi plus here cos omega 1t is taken as common, so what is remaining? a2 sin of phi. Is that okay? So y will be, okay, let's say this is equation number 3. In this equation this is sin a. If this becomes cos b, this is cos a, and this becomes sin b, then I can use formula sin a plus b. Yes or no? For that, a1 plus a2 cos phi is considered as a cos theta, and a2 sin phi is considered as a sin theta. This is equation A and this is equation B. Okay, now if I put this equals to a cos theta and this equals to a sin theta, then what I get? I get y is equals to sin omega 1t, and this is to be written down as a cos theta, so this is a and this is cos theta plus cos of omega 1t, and this is to be written down as a sin theta, so this is a and this is sin theta. So what you get? Y equals to a is taken as common. When a is taken as common, this is sin a cos b and cos a sin b. So I will say this is sin a plus b. Tell me I'm right or not? Yes? Okay. So what is it? This is the equation of new superimposed wave. And which type of superposition we are talking about? We are talking about beats. So this is the equation of beats, right? But there is a problem. This a was supposed, this theta was supposed. In this, we don't know the value of a as well as the value of this theta. So we have to find out the value of a as well as the value of this theta. How would I? We have already done this in the interference. Yes or no? Okay. To find a, equation a square plus equation b square. I'm squaring and adding both these equation a and equation b. How would I? Left hand side. a1 plus a2 cos phi whole square plus left hand side of the second equation. So it will be a2 sin phi whole square. Now the right side of first equation is what? A cos theta whole square plus this a sin theta whole square, and these are equal. I just what I did, I just put this in right and put this in left hand side, nothing else. So now this is a square, this is a square, so a square is taken as common, and this is cos square theta, this is sin square theta. Now this is a1 square plus a2 square cos square phi plus 2 a1 a2 cos phi, and whole square of this is a2 square sin square phi. Is that okay? Now tell me how much is that cos square theta plus sin square theta? That is 1. So it is a square is equals to a1 square. Now in these two functions, you can say a2 square is common. So you took a2 square as common. So this is cos square phi and this is sin square phi plus 2 a1 a2 cos phi. So this a will become equals to, yes, tell me, a1 square plus a2 square, this cos square phi plus sin square phi will become 1, so plus 2 a1 a2 cos phi, and this is the resultant amplitude of new superimposed wave, that means this is the resultant amplitude of beats. But there is a problem, that this phi is not a constant. Phi is how much? Delta omega t. This delta omega can be written as 2 pi delta nu into t. Am I right or not? Now tell me. This phi, phase difference phi will change with the time. So I will say this is resultant amplitude equals to square root of A1 square plus A2 square plus 2A1 A2 cos of phi, value of phi is 2 pi delta nu into t. This is the resultant amplitude of the new superimposed wave, that means amplitude of the beats, right? Now one more thing, theta. We don't know theta, we have to find out this theta too. So to find out this theta, you will divide this equation B by this equation A. Do it. But I will write down this right hand side into left hand side and left hand side into right hand side. So I'll say A sin theta upon A cos theta equals to, in right hand side I will say A2 sin phi upon A1 plus A2 cos phi. A cancel, so sin theta upon cos theta will become tan theta, and that is equals to A2 sin phi upon A1 plus A2 cos phi. So this theta will become equals to tan inverse A2 sin phi upon A1 plus A2 cos phi. Number one. Number two, this phase angle theta will also change with the change in time, because phi is equals to how much? Delta omega t. When time changes, phi changes, the sin phi and cos phi also changes. When they change, this theta also changes. Is that okay? Okay. So again, so new superimposed wave was A sine of omega 1 t plus phi, right? Where resultant amplitude is, we know already, we have done this right now, and this is the phase theta. All the values are known. That means we have got the equation of new superimposed wave, that is equation of beat, right? Now what is happening actually in this beats, that we have to understand. Now listen, what was the amplitude? A1 square plus A2 square plus 2A1 A2 cos phi, right? I'm talking about when the amplitude of the new superimposed wave, that means amplitude of the beat, is maximum. This will be phi. Phi was how much? That was 2 pi delta nu into t, right? So amplitude will be maximum when cos 2 pi delta nu into t is maximum, and that its maximum value will be 1. When will it be maximum? When 2 pi delta nu into t is equals to 2n pi. Tell me, the value of cos phi will be maximum when phi will be equals to 0 or 2 pi or 4 pi or 6 pi, that means 2n pi. So this 2 and 2, this pi and pi when cancelled, so delta nu t equals to n. So t is equals to become n upon delta nu. That means time when the amplitude of wave will be maximum, amplitude of the beats will be maximum, n equals to 0, so it is 0. When n equals to 1, so it is 1 upon delta nu. When n equals to 2, so it is 2 upon delta nu. When n equals to 3, so this is 3 upon delta nu. For all these values of time, amplitude of the new superimposed wave will be maximum, amplitude of the beats will be maximum, okay? And what will be the maximum amplitude? You said this cos of 2 pi delta nu t equals to 1. That means when this value is 1, so maximum amplitude will be the square root of A1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos of phi. Cos phi is equals to what? 1. You already said this cos phi is equals to 1. So now the maximum amplitude will be square root of a1 plus a2 whole square, and that is how much? a1 plus a2. This is the maximum amplitude. And what will be the maximum intensity? The intensity maximum will be square root of I1 plus square root of I2 whole square, as we have already talked about in interference. Yes or no? Okay. So now, when the resultant amplitude is minimum, and this resultant amplitude will be minimum when cos of 2 pi delta nu t is also minimum, and the minimum value of cos is -1, and this will be 2 pi delta nu t equals to, so this phase difference will be equals to how much? Either pi, cos pi equals to cos 180 -1, cos 3 pi is also -1, cos 5 pi is also -1, so it should be 2n minus 1 into pi. Am I right? So this pi and pi are cancelled, so this t will become equals to 2n minus 1 upon 2 delta nu. Yes, for these values of time, amplitude of the wave, amplitude of the beats will be minimum. And now listen, this time will be when n equals to 1, 2 into 1, 1, 2 into 1, 2, 2 minus 1, 1, 1 upon 2 delta nu. At this time, amplitude will be minimum. When n equals to 2, 2 into 2, 4, 4 minus 1, 3. So this is 3 upon 2 delta nu. For now put n equals to 3. 3 to the 6, minus 1, 5. So this is 5 upon 2 delta nu, and so on. For these values of time, amplitude of the beats will be minimum, amplitude of the new superimposed wave will be minimum, and how much will be the minimum amplitude? A1 minus A2. And what will be the minimum intensity? Root I1 minus root I2 whole square, right? Okay. If, now listen me. What I'm saying, when time changes, the amplitude of the new superimposed wave will be sometimes maximum, sometimes minimum, sometimes maximum, sometimes minimum, right? And if A1 equals to A2 equals to A, and I1 equals to I2 equals to I, then what will be the maximum amplitude? Maximum amplitude A plus A, that means 2A. And maximum intensity will be root I naught, this is let's say I naught, root I naught plus root I naught, 2 root I naught whole square is 4 I naught. That is right. And what will be the minimum amplitude? That will be A minus A, that equals to 0. And what will be minimum intensity? Root I naught minus root I naught whole square is also 0. Now listen, if the amplitudes of both the waves are equal, then sometimes you will hear a sound wave of maximum intensity 4 I naught intensity, and sometimes you will hear the sound wave of 0 intensity. That means sometimes you will hear some sound and sometimes you will not hear any sound. Yes or no? When maximum intensity is maximum but minimum intensity is 0, in that case you will be clearly identify the maximas and the minimas. Yes or no? Suppose the amplitudes are not same. Suppose the amplitudes of two waves are not same. Suppose one of the wave has amplitude A and another wave has amplitude 2A. So A plus 2A, 3A. Right? So if this is 3A, then intensity will be somewhat higher. Right? But in this case, in case of minimum intensity, you will say 2A minus A, that means there is some intensity, there is some amplitude. Even in case of minimum amplitude, That means there will be some intensity of sound even in case of minimum intensity. That means minimum intensity will not be zero. So what you will hear, sometimes higher intensity, sometimes lower intensity, sometimes higher intensity, sometimes lower intensity, and it is possible that you will not be able to differentiate which of that is higher, which of that is lower. That means you might listen a constant intensity, even though there is a difference in between maximum intensity and minimum intensity, but you will not be you will not be able to clearly identify the maximum and minimum intensity until the minimum intensity is zero, until the minimum amplitude is zero, because when amplitude and intensity of sound wave is zero, you do not hear anything. Getting me? It is better to hear sometimes maximum and sometimes zero, rather than you hear sometimes higher intensity, sometimes lower intensity. Is that okay? That's why in case of beats, the amplitudes of two waves should be equal, but it is not a must. If they are not equal, still beats will be produced, but you will not be able to hear clear beats. Is that okay? Okay. अभी हमने क्या सीखा? At t equals to 0, 1 upon delta nu, 2 upon delta nu, 3 upon delta nu, intensity was amplitude and intensity was maximum. In this case, amplitude was maximum as well as intensity was maximum. In this case, amplitude was maximum, intensity was maximum. In this case, amplitude was maximum, intensity was maximum. Right? But at time 1 upon 2 delta nu and 3 upon 2 delta nu and 5 upon 2 delta nu, you can check. First at t equals to 0, then after when the time is increased, 1 upon delta nu, this is half of the 1 upon delta nu, and this is 3 by 2 times of the 1 upon delta nu, and this is 2 times of the 1 upon delta nu. So it is what I'm doing, I'm writing the time in increasing order. I'm writing the time in increasing order. At this time, amplitude was minimum as well as intensity was minimum. In this case, amplitude was minimum as well as intensity was minimum. In this case, amplitude was minimum and intensity was also minimum. I'm right or not? That means what? At t equals to 0, intensity and amplitude were maximum. At 1 upon 2 delta nu, intensity and amplitude were minimum, again maximum, then minimum, then maximum, then minimum, then maximum. That means what? Alternatively, maximas and minimas are heard after certain time. That means what? After 1 upon 2 delta nu time, after 1 upon 2 delta nu time, intensity and amplitude becomes from maximum to minimum. Then further, after 1 upon 2 delta nu times, intensity and amplitude becomes maximum. Then again it converts into minimum. That means in every 1 upon 2 delta nu times, intensity changes either from maximum to minimum or it changes from minimum to maximum. Is that okay? I will talk about time period of beats. Time period of anything is what? When the same values are repeated. It was maximum at t equals to 0 and it was again maximum at 1 upon delta nu. Yes, it was again maximum at 2 upon delta nu. It was again maximum at 3 upon delta nu. So time between these two cases, when amplitude and intensities were maximum, is what? Time period of beats. Am I right or not? This is minimum intensity and this is again minimum intensity. This is again minimum intensity. So time between these two cases, when intensities are again repeated to minimum, is what? Time period of beats. Yes, तो मैं यहाँ पे क्या लिखूंगा? Time period of beats is equals to T1 max minus T2 max. Time between two maximas, right? So, what would I say? T2 max upon T1 max. Sorry, T2 max minus T1 max. T2 max is 1 upon delta nu. And T1 max is 0. Or you can say this is maximum and this is maximum. So time between them is 2 upon delta nu minus 1 upon delta nu. That is equals to 1 upon delta nu. It was also equals to 1 upon delta nu. Or time period of beats is the time between two successive minimas. Successive minimas मतलब T2 minima minus T1 minima. T2 minima. Where is T2 minima? This is second time when intensity and amplitude are minimum. This is first time when intensity and amplitude are minimum. So you will say 3 upon 2 delta nu minus 1 upon 2 delta nu. When these are solved, this is again 1 upon delta nu. Or it can be written as this is minima, this is also minima. So 5 upon 2 delta nu minus 3 upon 2 delta nu. So it is also 1 upon delta nu. So time period of a beat is finally equals to 1 upon delta nu. And what is the frequency of beat? Frequency of beat is how much? Nu B. Frequency of beat is equals to 1 upon time period of beat. Frequency is always equal to reciprocal of time period. So frequency of beat will be equals to 1 upon 1 by delta nu. So frequency of beats is equals to delta nu. What does it mean? If there are two sound waves, one of them has a frequency of 256 hertz and another wave has a frequency 260 hertz. Right? So what will be delta nu? Delta nu will be nu2 minus nu1, that is 4 hertz. Is that okay? So frequency of beat will be 4 hertz, or it is written as 4 beats per second. Means what? In 1 second the intensities will be 4 times maximum and 4 times minimum. That means 4 beats will be heard in 1 second. Getting me or not? Okay. One thing. Second thing. Graphical representation of beats. This is one of the wave with high frequency. This is another wave with slightly low frequency. Frequency, you know, V equals to nu lambda. Velocity of sound or any wave in any medium is constant. Velocity of all the waves in same medium is always be same until the medium is changed. Okay? So velocity in a medium is constant, and that means nu into lambda is also constant, and lambda is inversely proportional to nu. If frequency is more, then wavelength will be less. If frequency is less, then wavelength will be more. So you can see that its wavelength is more than the wavelength of this wave. That means this wave has less frequency, right? Okay. When these two waves superimpose, here it is crust, this is also crust. Crust and crust are together. That means this is constructive interference. Due to constructive interference, the amplitude will be added. Yes or no? So resultant amplitude of the wave will increase. Here you can see this is the trough of a wave and this is the crest of a wave. That means they are in opposite phase. So they will suffer destructive interference, and due to destructive interference, the resultant amplitude will decrease to 0. Yes. Here again, this is a crest of a wave, this is the crest of another wave, again destructive interference, so amplitude will again be maximum. Here this is crest of a wave and this is trough of a wave, again there is destructive interference and it is minimum amplitude. Is that okay? That means what? This is a graph between displacement and time. And what are you looking for? That amplitude is maximum and this amplitude decreases to 0. Then it again increases to maximum and again 0. This again increases to maximum and again 0. Again increases to maximum and again 0. Again increases to maximum and again 0. Is that okay? So in beats, you hear, if it is for sound waves, in beats, you hear maximum and minimum, maximum and minimum, maximum and minimum amplitudes, maximum and minimum, maximum and minimum, maximum and minimum intensities of sound waves alternatively. Is that okay? So this is what beats. In case of tabla, do you understand tabla? What happens? Tabla, in a dholak or tabla, there are two surfaces, right? When you beat one of the surface, it produces some sound, and that sound is beats. Why that is beats? In the tabla, suppose this is the part. Do you know in any tabla or dholak, this part is dark, slightly black, and this is white? Why? Because this part is coated with some material inside. So this part is heavier and outer part is lighter. When you beat this tabla, what happens? This inner part produces some wave as well as outer parts also produces some waves. But frequency of the inner waves, frequency produced by the inner wave of this tabla is less than the frequency of outer part. Yes or no? That means there will be slight difference between their frequencies, and that's why beats will be heard. Is that okay? Okay. Or tabla, banjo, dholak, all are based on this beats, right? Okay.